Following the announcements from the DVSA on Thursday and Friday, cancelling all theory tests for 4 weeks and postponing all practical tests for up to 3 months, I thought I'd just make a short video answering some questions you may have. All the information I've got here is based on the DVSA website. I'll leave a link in the description so you can have a read of it yourself as well. So just reading it here off my phone, if your test was cancelled at short notice, you can apply for a refund for out-of-pocket expenses. So that's if your theory test was due to take place on or before the 23rd of March, and if your practical test was due to take place on or before the 24th of March. So if it was due to take place on and before those dates and it got cancelled due to the coronavirus, then you can apply for out-of-pocket expenses due to short notice cancellation. I'll leave a link in the description to show you how you can do that. If your theory test was cancelled, it's not being rebooked at the moment. You can't rebook theory tests at the moment. You need to book your theory tests after the 21st of April. I guess this is because DVSA don't want you booking a theory test and then find it doesn't go ahead, as it has to extend the 4-week of theory tests being cancelled. Maybe they have to extend that to 3 months like with the practical tests. So don't book any theory tests at the moment is what the DVSA are suggesting. For your practical driving test, the DVSA are advising here they're not going to contact you until about 2 weeks before your practical test is due to take place to cancel it. So if your test is due to take place in May, for example, they won't be contacting you yet, but it might be cancelled. I guess the reason they're doing this is they're being hopeful that tests maybe in May are going to go ahead if the situation improves. The postponing tests for up to 3 months, I guess, is just the worst case scenario, but they are really hoping that it's basically not going to be that bad. You're just going to have to see what happens, just play it day by day. If of course you are concerned, because you're not really sure if your test is going to go ahead or not, because they're not going to contact you until 2 weeks before your test is due to go ahead, you can just get a refund now. Just go on the DVSA website, gov.uk website, and just ask for a refund and wait for all this stuff to blow over and all to end, and then rebook your test and do your lessons. Currently the DVSA are also saying you're not allowed to book a practical test. I guess that's because they don't want you to book one and then them to tell you it's not going ahead. So you're just going to wait, just see what happens in the next few months, and then book a test from the DVSA, give us an update. The only people that might have test dates are people who had test dates before Friday just gone, that were then postponed. But it does appear even those tests that are postponed are now being cancelled by the DVSA. I'm getting a lot of notifications from people telling me that. Now here's a bit of bad news, unfortunately to add to all the other bad news. If your theory test is expiring soon, despite all this not being your fault, it's out of everyone's control, your theory test will not be extended. So if your theory test is expiring, for example, next month or in 2 months' time, and you're hoping to have passed your test before it expires, it's seeming like you're basically going to have to redo your theory test. So quite unfortunate. The DVS are saying that they can't legally extend the date of the theory test, the expiry date on the theory tests. What it does also mean, on the 14th of April, the theory test is changing. So it's basically seeming like everyone is now going to have to take the new style theory test. But try not to get too stressed about it, as the new style theory test is basically just 3 questions are just basically presented differently. You can find more information about the new style theory test in my video that I made a few weeks ago. I'll leave the link to it just up here. So the DVSA are saying people that are what they're classing as critical workers are allowed to potentially book a practical driving test. And these critical workers are people who work in the following sectors: health and social care, education and childcare, key public services, local and national government, food and other necessary goods, public safety and national security, transport, utilities, communication and financial services. Obviously that's quite a broad array of sectors, and I'm not sure how specific they're being, because you could say food and unnecessary goods is that people working in a supermarket, including people stacking shelves, working at tills, people working at fast food restaurants. Not really sure. And for utilities, communication and financial services, does that include office workers who are just answering the phone and doing admin work? So not really sure. The best thing to do, if you feel you fall into one of those categories and you feel you should be able to get an emergency driving test, what you need to do is email the DVSA asking for an emergency test, explain the situation, and just see what they say, see if they agree with you, see if they can give you an emergency driving test. The same also applies for theory tests. If you're a critical worker, you can potentially get an emergency theory test. Again, you'll need to email the DVSA to inquire about this, and then they're going to get back to you asking you for some sort of proof. They'll tell you what type of proof, some sort of proof that you do deserve an emergency theory test or an emergency practical test. I'm not really sure what that proof is, but that's what they'll tell you once you email them. That's it for now. Please do make sure you like, subscribe and comment. Stay safe and bye for now.